Welcome, fellow modelers. This is Cameron with Wasatch Modeler, and today we introduce a segment we like to call Really? Really? Now, I am not a fan of absolutes by any means, and rather than just go out and shed my opinion on the matter, we're actually going to put it to the test today. So I've got a few samples that we'll set up, and we'll see, is there anything to this? Alright, time for a test. So I've got here just standard styrene, put lines in it and some rivets. So I've got flat coat here. It's actually Stynylrez. So it's primer. That's about as flat as you can get. Then for the gloss, I used the one that most people are going to talk about that you should use before you put on decals, Future. And then I'm going to experiment with a third type that a few people have been talking about, where you actually, instead of using setting solution, you actually use Future. So let's give it a shot. Let's see how that works. So first, I've got a couple of different sets of decals. I'm going to put some setting solution on that. Okay. And then if this gloss is so good and it's what's doing the job, I should just be able to just lay it down like that, right? But I'll be nice. I'll actually go in, wick away this extra moisture like you should. Let's see how that sets up. And then, you know what, just because I have to make sure everything looks good, put that right there. And then I'm going to work out the rest of that micro set. So there's that. And then just going to do the same thing. I've got some okay. Now for the secret weapon. It should be so good that I should be able to get these horrible decals to work. I'm just going to use a brush, and I'm going to use it like it's free. Super cheap. Just gob it on, and it should just do its thing, right? Just the Future dries, it should just suck it in and bring it into all those crevices. So we'll give this a little bit of time, let it dry. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is a couple of micro sol, and I might even go for my secret weapon, Solvaset, and we'll see how it looks in the end. So it's been 24 hours. Got several coats of my favorite products going on to the flat side. So Solvaset for certain situations, and let's just see if fit quite well onto those spots. Now what I'm going to have to do is probably lay down a flat coat just to see if there's any silvering that we can't find. But the flat coat, as you can tell from here, it more depends on what decal. These stupid Revel decals are just crap nonetheless. And then the other decals, I think one of those might even be Cartograph. Gorgeous. Just like we wanted. Now with the gloss, I didn't have any of the added solvents, so okay, yeah, that might help there. So there's that. But if you notice, it didn't suck it into the panels super duper well. So take it as you will. The other interesting thing that we have found is using the future as the solvent is just trash. That there's just no way else around that. You can see all the bubbles in it. It's just not good. Now, with some of this, you might be saying, oh, well, I mean, you said you use future on there. Well, actually, Aqua Gloss is champion. So I've actually done this test here. So I've got Aqua Gloss. Actually worked pretty bad. So I'm going to add some Solvaset on it to see how that reacts. And then this is tested it a while ago. You can get the focus right. The insignia here, that's just solvent. Yeah, you can actually see some of the residue because I didn't care. I was pretty messy with it. And with that one, with that test, definitely performed better than going over the gloss. So take it as you will, but next what I want to do is put down a flat coat over this and see if I can find some more evidence of silvering going on. Alright, flat coat complete. So this is what I was using for my flat coat. Amazing stuff, works well. But here's the results. So as you can see with the flat coat, there's a little bit of silver. That's something I can clean up. I mean, I wasn't super persistent with the Solvaset. I could get that cleaned up. Here we get a little teeny bit of silvering. That's something we can clean up. This, all sorts of silvering. Definitely something gonna need more effort, which generally the case when you have cheap decals. Makes sense. Now for the gloss, using that secret weapon of the pledge, future floor polish. So, I mean, I added the gloss coat, so this should be amazing, right? This should just do it. Well, I actually have more. Now remember, I wanted to just see if it's the gloss coat, right, that's saving this. So I didn't use any of my setting solutions. So yeah, if I put both of them together, probably would look great, but it's just still going to be comparable to the flat. So I wanted to see how much of an impact we could have between the gloss and the flat, right? But either way, it's not the gloss that has provided an advantage. You can see here, gloss, no. We even then drenched in future, and we have more bubbles. So it almost makes more sense, you would think, but in flat, but you know what? No. What I normally do, it really just depends on what I'm building, but I'm probably going to put on a protective coat myself just to protect it from these buggers and all sorts of other stuff. But I'm not doing it so the decals gets nice and snug against the surface, or it doesn't have air pockets and all that. I mean, this right there would be an air pocket. These little bubbles, I mean, these little rivets would be air pockets. So I really don't get the reasoning for there. And I'm sure I'm going to be getting plenty of hate mail in the comments. Have at it. But what I've concluded is, do you have to gloss before you put down your decals? According to here, no. I've even gone in and taken a look. So this is of actually using some solvents. And yeah, I could probably get this better with even more solvents. But the fact that we have the gloss was not its saving grace. I mean, this here, You can shake. That's just horrible amounts of silvering. And this is over aqua gloss, so not so much. The next test that I might do is just put the decal over glass. That should be the best, right? Super smooth finish. So I might do that in a follow-up video if you guys want. But what I've concluded is the biggest impact on helping the decals is your solvents. That is what's going to help it snug to all the different details in there more than just putting in a gloss coat. I also haven't found any difference in the temperature of water. Maybe there is for some people. Me, I just have it at room temperature. I may be a barbarian. Call me out. I don't care. That's what I do. So the big saving grace is the technique that I showed you earlier. Micro set right before. Put the decal on. Get the extra moisture off by rolling it. Then apply as whatever you need. Either sol, set, get it to where it needs to be. And yes, you're probably going to need more than one coat of these. That's one other thing that people fail to look at. And then eventually you can get to here. One other little technique that I want to show you is maybe you've gone in and you've got a boo-boo like this, and you would say, well, there goes that, it's ruined. Not so much. We can fix it. We have the technology. So if we go and do some solve, now it may or may not work. It actually, you can see it going in and getting some of the air pockets. But what I'd actually do, there, you slice it and just puncture all those air pockets. And you can see how much more effective it is. So you pierce, you go there. You could even do a Rosie the Riveter over it and just lightly pierce all those decals. And you just get this all over there. Now, if I wanted to spend enough time on this, I should be able to save it. If it's super bad, I can even go in and cut out the outlines of those. So we could save it, but notice this is what's saving it, not the gloss coat. Alright, if you thought this was a worthwhile video, definitely like, subscribe. If there's things that you think I did wrong, call me out. I'll follow up video. If there's things that you would like me to see done differently, try different things, let me know. If there's anything that you have question-wise, definitely put in the comments, and we'll have a discussion going.